अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आप सबको मेरी तरफ से रमज़ान मुबारक। थोड़ा लेट है लेकिन पहली दफ़ा मुलाकात हो रही है तो यही सही। और अ, Hunib Gazdar. I have done my bachelor's in civil engineering from Kennedy University of Engineering Technology. Okay, and then I did my master's from the same university in engineering management. Then I did my PhD from King Fahd University, Saudi Arabia. Okay, and that was in transportation planning. And I have served in Kennedy University for around 10 years. Okay, then I moved here to Bahrain. So right now I'm in Bahrain. I'm associate professor at the Department of Civil Engineering, University of Bahrain. And with that, I'm also the coordinator of quality assurance. So which largely deals with what we are going to talk about today. Okay. Just to build on that theme, that how I'm relevant to the discussion of silos and pilos and POs. I'm, like I already mentioned, I'm the coordinator of quality assurance. I have done my fellowship from Higher Education UK. Okay, that was the fellowship for higher education. Okay, and I have also done the certified trainer course from Microsoft. Okay, so I believe I could give you guys something to think about these aspects, the silos and pilos and POs, and I hope that we will learn from each other. Okay, so that was about myself. Uh, so moving on to the the contents of the presentation. We will start with with a very small activity. Okay, you can call it a competition, a game, or whatever. Okay, but I hope that you will be engaged in it, and I would know the level. Okay, then we will talk about the words to be used in the key statements of the program, different approaches for building up the program and the outcomes, the differences between objectives and outcomes, the methods for developing the objectives. We'll discuss two methods. And again, we will do a very, very small activity. It's not much. Okay, just take a minute. We'll discuss some of the PEC guidelines. Okay, and in the end, I will conclude it, and then we will move on to the. I will give you my email address as well for any future correspondence. Okay, so as I said, I will start with a small activity. Okay, and the purpose of the activity is that before we start the session, we should know how much you guys know. Okay, so the session should proceed then accordingly. And I believe that in these aspects, you guys would be very knowledgeable. Okay, so I'm giving you a chance now that you can get rid of this webinar right now. Okay, if you, so it's a game, and whoever wins the game, so there's only one winner, whoever wins the game has the chance, or he can leave the webinar, he or she can leave the webinar. Okay, because then he may know more than what I'm going to tell here today. Okay, so we will do a very small competition. Okay, so I will go here. Okay, let me start it. Okay, so I believe all of you have your phones with you. Okay, so you can go to this website. Okay, www.kahoot.it, and then either, or you can scan the QR code here as well. Okay, if you go to the website, you have to enter the game pin and it will start. And or you can just scan the QR code and should get you there. And if it asks for the game pin, then you can enter this number 4282968. So I would request everybody to either join in from the website, or you can scan the QR code and join in this activity so we can begin the proceedings. So please. Okay. And by the way, you don't have to use your real names. You can like, okay, you can change your names as well, no problem. I don't mind. Okay, I believe we have more people there. So if others can join as well. Okay. Okay, that's it. I don't see Professor Saab's name there. Professor Razamadi, if you can join as well. Okay. Okay. Let us not take too much time here. I will start the game. So these guys, okay, like you, it will be like a sort of a competition. Okay, the all questions are related to the topic. Okay, and then we will see who can win this game. And as I said, the offer is valid. If you win, you can. Okay, walk out from the webinar. No need to get bored from me. Okay, so thank you, Professor Saab. Now I will start now. Okay, so the questions will appear one by one. Okay. Okay, the first question, what is the full form of PEO? You have to select the answer. Okay, so you have the three answers here. I believe we have 6 people here. So once you select the answer, I will know. And keep in mind, it's not only the correct answer, you have to do it quickly as well. The time is recorded as well. Okay, so 4 people got it right. Okay, all 4 people who answered, the other 2 didn't answer. So next time, try to be quick. Okay, I'll go to the next question. You can still win. Okay, so right now, Mr. Fahad is at the top. Okay, let's move on. What is the full form of silo? And these are your options. As I said, you have to be quick. Okay, much better this time. Okay, so there's a divided opinion here. Okay, but the correct one is course intended learning outcomes, this one. Okay, so let's see the scoreboard now. Okay, Mr. Faz is still on the top. Let's see if somebody can disturb the scoreboard. Full form of PILO. Okay, again, 3 of you are correct. There were others who got it wrong as well. So now you can see here, Mr. Umair Ahmad has gone to the top. Okay, so now we have, I believe, 2 more questions. Okay, so you still have, anybody has a chance to top it up. Which taxonomy helps you with the development of the objectives? Which of these taxonomy helps you with the development of the objectives? Course objectives, obviously. Okay. Yeah, most of you got it correct. So we will move on to the scoreboard and see. Okay, Mr. Fahad has jumped or reclaimed his place. Let us see if we can have a surprise in the end. Okay, the last question, last chance. Learning objective written to specify the desired performance. Okay, true and false. Very easy. Okay, So we only got 4 responses. Surprising. I thought everybody should take a shot here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I believe it was expected. Mr. Fahad is at the top. Okay, he maintained his position. Mr. Ahmed Ahmad, okay, he's the second place, and Engineer Saeed is the third place. Okay, so as I said, okay, you have the chance to move out. But before you do that, let me tell you something. Okay, before you claim that you can or you want to move out, I told you you can. Okay, you can opt to go, but I didn't say you should. Okay, so I believe that in this activity you have shown that you have some knowledge. Okay, nobody, I believe nobody got all the answers incorrect. So I believe yet all of you showed that you have some knowledge. Okay, but there are other aspects which we will discuss in the presentation. Okay, and the webinar today. So I encourage all of you to just stay tight. Okay, just bear with me. And inshallah, we will have some other good points in the presentation as well, more than what you already know. Okay, so I will start with the first thing. Okay, which I already mentioned in my statement when I announced the quiz, that you can leave the webinar, but I didn't say you should. Okay, so the most important thing when it comes to writing the silos and pilos and PAOs is the choice and use of words. Okay, the most important thing when you're writing these silos and pilos and PAOs is the use of the correct words. Okay, so and there are some keywords. Okay, the course learning objectives and the course intended learning outcomes, the education objectives and the learning outcomes both have some keywords. Okay, so like I said in my statement, the keyword was can and should. If I say you should leave, then obviously you should leave. But if I say you can, that means you can or you may not. Okay, so the use of words is very important in these objectives and these outcomes. So how should we select our words, our keywords especially? Okay, now we all know the technical side of the things. Okay, if I'm teaching a course related to highways, if I'm teaching a course related to structures, then I know what I'm going to teach in that course. I know that what are the students going to learn in that course. I know that. But in order to formulate it in the form of an objective or an outcome, then we need some help. Okay. Why we need this help? Because we have accreditation bodies. In your case, this is PEC. Okay, and I believe HEC also, looks over these things. So if you do not formulate the objectives properly and you do not use the correct keywords, then you may have a problem with these bodies. Okay, and I will come to another aspect of why we should use the keywords properly. Okay, apart from the technical aspect. So who can help us in formulating these objectives? So this was already mentioned in the quiz that we use a taxonomy or a framework which is called as Bloom taxonomy. Now, Bloom taxonomy is very old. It's like from 1950s. The first time the Bloom taxonomy was coined, the first time the Bloom taxonomy was formulated, it was in 1956, I guess. Then later on, when they used it, they felt that no, we need to change few things. So in 2001, I believe, if I'm not wrong, in 2001, they made some changes in the Bloom taxonomy. So right now, what you are looking at is the Bloom taxonomy is a revised version of the Bloom taxonomy. Okay, so now you can see here, it is divided into different levels. This taxonomy is divided into different levels, and each level has a set of keywords. Now, these levels should correspond to the level of your course and the students. So, for example, if you are teaching at high school or inter-metric, what you call, then maybe the very basic level, the very lower level could be enough. Okay, so we are just trying to see if the student captures the knowledge and he can recognize it when we give it to him again. So, for example, the multiples of 2 or multiples of 5 or so on and so forth. Okay, so this is knowledge. Okay, then you come to comprehension. So in comprehension, it's a higher level, and it may be applied to the university students, the adult students, in which we are giving some information to the students and we are asking the students to understand it and interpret it. So he should drive his or her own conclusion from the information you are giving him, like a case study, if you want to take it like this. So in comprehension, we do not want him to recall, we do not want him to reproduce what we have already told him. We want him to give his or her own opinion, but the information is still the same. Then we have application. The next level is application. So in application, we are giving him the knowledge, but then we want the student to apply this knowledge in a new situation, in a new case. Okay, so for example, you told the student how to make the shear force and bending moment diagram of a beam when the load is at the center. Okay, and then you give to the student what will happen if I place the load at the support. How will the shear force and bending moment diagram change? So now he's taking the concepts which you give him, which you have given him of shear force and bending moment, but now he will apply it to a new situation with the load being displaced to a new position. Okay, and then obviously you can increase the complexity instead of one load, two loads, or UDL and VDL and so on and so forth. Okay, so the complexity is still can vary even in the same level. Okay, then we come to analysis. So analysis, he is giving the information in different parts, and then he is supposed to combine this information, okay, and then make something out of it. So I was giving the example of shear force bending moment diagram. Okay, so in one course, we have taught him shear force bending moment diagram. In another course, we have taught him displacement. Okay, can he combine these two parts into something which can be used for design? Okay, this is the analytical ability. Okay, so analysis or analytical ability is a higher level in which we ask the student to synthesize the information, okay, or combine the information from different sources and combine it in a way that it can be made useful. Okay, so this is a higher level. Then we go to synthesis. So in synthesis, we have, again, he is combining different elements, but not for something which he has already done. We want him to do something which is innovative. Okay, so synthesis then includes some level of innovation, something which he has not seen before and something which may not have been done before. So he has to look at a wider body of the knowledge, not just the knowledge which he is given in the class, and he has to apply it. Okay, and then we go on to the last phase, which is, or the highest level of phase, which is evaluation. Okay, and this is basically a teacher. Okay, this is what you guys are. Okay, so your level should be here. Okay, but obviously, even the teachers have students at some point. So the evaluation stage, at the evaluation stage, they are able to look at the information and find out the faults, find out the errors. They are able to critically analyze it, and they can give their comments and opinion how to make it better and so on and so forth. So coming back to why Bloom taxonomy is important, the Bloom taxonomy gives us a framework on how to develop the levels of our courses, and then within the courses, how we can develop different activities, okay, and different assessments and our lectures. Because in the end, it is important what you want the student to do, okay, at the end of the course, what you want the student to do, or at the end of the program, what you want the student to do. Okay, so these are the list which you see here. They are called as cognitive skills, okay, thinking skills in simple words, and they go from the lowest level to the highest level. And the highest level, evaluation and synthesis, it can be attributed to the postgraduate programs. Okay, so in the undergraduate programs, normally you will see the second to the fourth level. the comprehension, the application, and this. Obviously, knowledge can also be a part of it, some part of it, but at this level, we don't want the student to recall and reproduce what you have already told him. Okay, so this is about the use of the words. So the word should match the keywords in your objectives and learning outcomes should match with the cognitive skill. This is what I was aiming towards, that we know the technical information we will give to the student. Okay, but to what level? Okay, this is where the Bloom taxonomy comes into play. And this is where we have to select our keywords properly. So every level of Bloom taxonomy has a set of keywords which the experts have formulated, they have developed, and they are available. You can search as well. So these are some of the words. Okay, but obviously there are many others as well. This is just one example of each level. Okay, so in evaluation, he can create. In synthesis, he can evaluate. Okay, like these are, we call them action verbs. Okay, I was calling it keyword, but in a more technical language of higher education, they are called as action verbs. Okay, so when you are writing your educational objective or learning outcome, it must start from an action verb. At the end of the course, at the end of the program, what the student should be able to do. Okay, so should he be able to create something new? Should he be able to just apply the knowledge? Should he be able to just understand what you are telling him, and so on and so forth? Okay, now there are, if you want to apply this, okay, there are two types of approaches. When you come towards developing the learning outcomes and education objectives, there are two approaches, top down and bottom up. Okay, let me show you. So this is the bottom up approach, where you have the courses. For each courses, silos are already prepared. Then you try to see how we can combine these silos into the program intended learning outcomes. Okay, so silos are the learning outcomes for each course, and the pilos are for the entire program. So then you look at the courses and the outcomes of the courses, and then you try to summarize into some of the key learning outcomes which you are targeting for the whole program. Okay, and then from these learning outcomes, you go for the program educational objectives, which is at the highest level where you want yourself to be. Okay, so we are starting from the courses, then what we want from the program, and then after the program is finished or through the program, where we want ourselves to be. This is a bottom-up approach. Then we have the top-down approach as well. Okay, which starts from PEOs. So first of all, you develop your own objectives of delivering this program. Then you move on to the intended learning outcomes of the whole program, where you want the students to be at the end of the program. And then the last one will be the course learning outcomes. Okay, so we are starting with the objectives, then the program outcomes, and then the course outcomes. So these are the two approaches. Now, obviously, we should be going with the top-down approach. Okay, you need to set up the goal from the higher level. You need to set up your goals at the higher level. Okay, for any organization, it's not only about education. For any organization, the goals are set from the top level. Okay, you take the example of a country. The minister should be developing the plan for the next 30, 40 years. And then there are other people who will implement this plan. So the PEOs are like the plan you want to achieve. Okay, so it should be the top-down approach. Okay, but why we are discussing it here? Because sometimes, and we have seen it, and I believe I'm from the generation which has seen this whole transformation. Okay, so when we were studying, there were no outcomes and goals and these things. Okay, then the accreditation bodies came in, and like when I was studying, I didn't hear about, okay, what are the course intended learning outcomes and what are the program education objectives. I didn't see it anywhere. Okay, so when the process began that we have to streamline the program, we have to get the accreditation and so on and so forth, then the problem came that no, the courses are already there. Okay, so in many cases, people went for the bottom-up approach. Okay, because then it makes sense because you are already teaching the courses. So to get the information from the existing courses and try to summarize it into a higher level outcome and the higher level objective becomes easier because everybody knows what they are teaching. So if I ask the 5 and 6 of you to make the outcomes of your course, it becomes very easy because you already know what you are teaching. Okay, and then I can take these outcomes and I can uh, develop them into the learning outcomes of the program and the education objectives. It becomes easier. Okay, if I do the other way around, then I may have to, for example, I develop PEOs and PILOs, and then I tell you, no, you're like we are teaching 40 courses. Out of these 40 courses, maybe 20 of them are not meeting the criteria of the outcomes and the objectives. Then you may have to change it for 20 courses. So now you see from where I come, from where I'm coming, okay, and how it becomes easier to do the bottom-up approach, okay. But this is like a makeshift arrangement. The bottom-up approach is like a makeshift arrangement. It should not happen, okay. But as I said, still it does happen. It does happen. But the goal should be to go for the top-down approach. Always start from the top with PEOs and PILOs and silos, and then move on to the courses and so on. Even the design of the courses should follow the development of the silos. The design of the courses should also follow the development of the silos. Okay, so everything should be top down. Okay, because then it will be in synchronization. And the whole purpose of developing these objectives and outcomes is the synchronization from top to bottom. The synchronization from the organization, the university, till the instructor who is doing one lab or who is taking one lab. They are all in synchronization. And this only happens, okay, when you are, or this would happen naturally if you are going from top to bottom, okay. Bottom up, then what is the problem? If you go for bottom up approach, the problem could be, like I said, you could be in a bit of a mess, okay, that we need to get the program accredited, but we don't have these things ready. So you may get yourself into a situation where you're doing the bottom up approach. But then the problem could be that your outcomes of the program and the educational objectives may not be to the standard of what the other organizations are teaching, or may not be to the standards which are acceptable in the industry, or it may not be to the standards which the accreditation body is looking for. Okay, so this is the main problem with the bottom-up approach, because you are already taking something which is existing, okay, and then you are trying to summarize it. Okay, basically you are not looking for any change. In the bottom-up approach, you are not looking for any change or improvement. You are just looking to formulate it and report it and so on and so forth. Okay, so the problem comes that when you are matching the standard of the accreditation body, the industry, and the other organizations, then the bottom-up approach will definitely fail. Okay, and we have seen it even in my organization. We have seen this thing. Okay, just recently we have done the whole activity of redeveloping our PhD program and the MSc program. Okay, and this problem came like people said, okay, we are already teaching these courses. We don't want to change our courses. Okay, so don't give us anything new. These are the courses we have. Let us develop something along these lines. And then what happened? Because the accreditation bodies or the people who are looking into your program, they are supervising your program, they want a proof that what you are doing is up to the standards. And this is where we face the problem. And we still have this problem. Like we sent it to the body which we have, the accreditation body which we have in Bahrain, and they gave us the comments like, where is your program? Like in relation to the other programs which are offered in other parts of the world, in other well-known universities, where is the standing of your program? And obviously then you cannot find it. Okay, because you did not look at them when you were developing it. Okay, so this brings it to my next point, which is from where you should start. We should start from the market study. Okay. Now, it's a very broad term, market study, and it can include number of stakeholders. I already mentioned some of them. For example, your stakeholders could be the accreditation body. Your stakeholders could be the people who already graduated from the program was running. Your stakeholders could be the people who will join your program if you start it. For example, if I'm going to start an MSc program, then my potential stakeholders could be BS students who will graduate and they may join it. Okay. Help you make the or start from the right approach. Okay, so they can help you formulate the correct sort of PEOs. So the market study is the most important thing for any program, for starting any program. If you are not starting from market study, then there are very high chances that you may end up developing a program which is not required. You may end up developing a program which is very difficult to an existing program, but we still have to do it, or we still should do it, because in the end, the purpose is to get the recognition for the program. So if you go for the bottom up approach, then this purpose dies. Okay, so we should always start from the market study. And the market study, as I said, is not limited to your accreditation body. It involves professionals and other organizations and so on and so forth. Okay. So there can be different forms of market study. One of those forms is called benchmarking. So you can benchmark your program with other programs from other universities, well-known universities, and so on and so forth. But I would consider it as a part of market study as well. Yes, you are in the educational field, so it's sort of a market for you. Okay, moving on. The difference between objectives and outcomes. Okay, I already mentioned some of them. Okay, can somebody tell me, according to their opinion, what is the difference between an objective and an outcome? They are two different words, obviously, so they are not there for no reason. Anyone? I can look into Teams as well if you want to type. According to your opinion, what is the difference between objectives and outcomes? You can type or you can, I don't know if you can say something or not. Yeah, anybody wants to contribute? We are not talking about right now educational objectives or something. We are just saying what is the difference between an objective and an outcome. If you are saying something, I cannot hear you. Maybe you can type or something. Okay, I believe it will take a lot of time. Let me move on. Okay. Okay. Could you kindly move on? Okay. Okay. Okay, let's move on. We have objectives and outcomes. So in objectives, we are looking at the goal, but in outcome, we are looking at the impact. Okay. So where do you want to reach and what will happen if you reach there? This is the difference between goal and impact. Okay. So for example, I want to reach the top of Mount Everest. Okay. Yeah, I want to reach the top of Mount Everest. But when I reach there, what impact will I make to the world? Okay. Reaching Mount Everest will make like the common discussion when people think about space missions is okay, you want to reach the space, you want to conquer the universe, but then what is the impact on the people who are living in this world? So this is the difference between the objective and the outcome. Okay, so objective, you can take it as an input and the outcome is the output. Okay, objective is like the input, what you want to do, and the outcome is the output, what will happen to the world if you do this. Okay, objectives are subjective. Okay, and outcomes are objective. I know it can be confusing, but when we say objectives, we are talking about educational objectives. We can be subjective that we want to be the best, for example. Okay, I can say I want to be the best. Okay, but outcome, what best means what? Okay, the best means 100 out of 100, or the best means that I will get it right 90% of the times. So this is the outcome. Okay. The objective, as I said, is teacher-centered or institution-centered. Okay, this is the thing which I mentioned earlier. The objectives could be teacher-centered or institution-centered, while the outcomes are student-centered. So in objectives, the organization tells where what should happen at the end. Okay, like they want to deliver the best, not the best education in civil engineering and so on and so forth. But outcome, then in outcome, you have to outline what the student will be able to do at the end of the program or the end of the course. So you can see now the two statements here. Okay. So in one statement, you see master advances in civil engineering fields and equip the graduates with this. And the other one is demonstrate advanced research skills. So both of them are related to research. You can see that both of them are related to research. So they are talking about the same thing. Okay. But in the first one, you can see I'm using the word master advanced. Master means what? Okay, well, how can I measure something, somebody who is an expert or something? Okay, and secondly, it's saying equip the graduates, okay, with research skills. So this is something which the institution wants to do. Okay, so you can see there is an objective term here. There's a subjective term here, which I cannot measure, and there is something which focuses on the organization, the institution. But if you look at this one, now here it says demonstrate. Okay, so if somebody, you guys have done your lab demonstrations, for example. So when you're demonstrating the lab, people can see it, that you can demonstrate. Okay, so this is student-centered now. Okay, and this is something which I can see. Okay, so now it is objective and it is student-centered. Okay, so the first one is the objective and the second one is an outcome. Okay, in the first one, we are using a subjective term and we are focusing on what we are trying to do as teachers and organization. And the second one, we are focusing on what the student should be able to do. So he should be able to demonstrate advanced research skills. And you can see there's more details here as well. It's not important, but according to the objective, they mentioned that he should be able to propose and plan and so on and so forth. Okay, but every time you don't have to be so detailed for your outcomes. Okay, going on to the how we should write our objectives. So there are two approaches. I'll quickly go through them. The first one is called as a SMART approach. Okay, in a SMART approach, a SMART means your objective should be specific, it should be measurable, it should be attainable, it should be relevant, and it should be timely. A specific means that you do not mix too many things in the same objective. So you cannot say he will be able to design a building and then he will be able to analyze it for earthquake. No, this is not specific. This is too broad. So you have to focus it and you have to make it very focused. Okay, so this is what you mean by as specific. Then it should be measurable. Okay, so if you say the student will be able to understand this and this and this, how do you know he is able to understand? You cannot measure it. You cannot go into his mind and examine the understanding of the student. You can give him an exam and he will be able to answer. Okay, but you don't know whether he understands the answer or not. Okay, we know the student how they do in the exams. So it should be something measurable. Like I give the example, demonstrate. Okay, you say he will be able to state or he will be able to design. So these are things which are considered measurable. And again, for these action verbs, for specific words, you have to go to Bloom taxonomy and you will see a list of these words. It should be attainable. Okay, it should be realistic, something which you can achieve. So you cannot say at the end of a first year course that the student will be able to design this and this and this. It's not attainable. The student doesn't have the skill and the knowledge at the end of first year that he will be able to achieve an objective or outcome related to design. So you have to look at the level of the student. There should be relevant. Okay, which normally we are very comfortable with. Should be relevant, meaning that should be related to your topic, related to your subject. It should be timely, something which you can achieve in the given semester. Okay, and to know about these things, you have to go back to the market study and you have to see what skills students really need. Okay, when you are writing the learning objective, then we have another approach which is called as a ABCD approach. Okay, in ABCD approach, we try to answer 4 questions. Who will do that? Who will be gaining the outcome? What he will be able to do, when and how well he will be able to do that. Okay, so you can see an example here. So who will be able to do that? You, the student. You can replace you with any particular person. So you will be able to do what? Write learning objectives. Okay, when you finish this module, how well you should be able to do it? You should be able to do it 100% of the times. Okay, so this is an example of how you can use the ABCD approach to write your objective. So you start with who is doing it, what he is doing, when he will be able to do it, and to what extent he will be able to do it, the complexity level or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so who is the audience? What is the behavior you want? Condition is when he will be able to do it, and how well is the degree. Okay, so this is where we got the ABCD. Okay, A is audience, B is behavior, C is the condition when he will be able to do it, and D is the degree, how well he will be able to do it. This is why we call it the ABCD framework. Okay, so some examples here. Okay, I will go through them. We have the voice problem here. So you have example, participants will be able to understand how to write learning objectives. Now you can see it is missing 2 parts. It says who will do it and what will do it, but it doesn't say how well and when he will be able to understand or when he will be able to write the learning objectives and how well he will be able to write the learning objectives. These 2 parts are missing. Okay, so this another example is participant will be able to name this. So who and what is there, 4 levels of evaluation, 100% of times. So there are 3 components which are there. Who will be able to do it? Participant. What he will be able to do it and how well he will be able to do it. Okay, but when at the start of the program, mid of the program, end of the program is not mentioned here. You can say it's implied, but still you have to make it complete. Okay, you can say some of the things are implied. Okay, but still you have to state it properly. This is the whole purpose of developing these objectives. Then you have another one, you will be able to develop. So you and what you are going to do this thing upon request. Okay, using this manual as a guide. So this is complete now. Who will be able to do it? What he will be able to do? When he should do it, when it's requested, and what he should use. So this is the condition now. Okay, so participant manual, using the participant manual. Okay, so this is the condition now. Okay, so all 4 components are there. So you can see there's a twist here. It's not always in the simple form of 100% of the times or the end of the course and so on and so forth. Okay, but you should get the gist of it. Okay, so at the end of the session, so when he will be able to do it, participant, this is who, what he will be able to do it, demonstrate techniques to classroom, and how well 80% of times. Again, it is complete. Okay, now since we are in Pakistan, you guys follow the Pakistan Engineering Council guidelines. Okay, so I will just touch upon them. I believe you guys have the whole manuals with you and you will be going through them every time the PC visit is there and you are submitting your documents. Okay, so I'm just quickly going to go through them and I will just try to relate them what I have already said. Uh, according to PEC guidelines, PEOs are broad statements that describe the career and professional accomplishments that the program prepares the graduates to be. So again, you can see the focus is on the program. Okay, what the program is trying to do with the students. Okay, some specific guidelines can be given, but you know that you don't have to follow them word by word. But these are some guidelines. The first thing is your PO should align with the institution mission and vision. This is so we follow in Bahrain, we follow ABIT. Okay, so we don't follow PEC or something else. We follow ABIT. Okay, even ISO we don't follow. We follow ABIT. But this this is part of ABIT as well. That whatever objectives you are setting up should conform to the mission and vision of your institution, your university. Okay, and in the end, you have to prove that there is a linkage between them. So this is what the PC is saying as well. It should reflect the needs of stakeholders, including employers, industry, and society. This is where what I said earlier, that setting up the POs starts with the industry, okay, or the market study. The market study. So market study includes all of them. And within society, then you can imagine that the students are involved, the alumni is involved, other universities are involved, and so on and so forth. So it says the same thing. It should be achievable and accessible. Okay, this is the smart approach. Achievable means it should be relevant. It should be, and accessible means it should be measurable. Okay, so this is like two parts of the smart approach, which I have told you. Then they are limiting the number of PEOs 3 to 5. Again, you can consider it international. Okay, more than 5 is considered too much for objectives. For objectives, more than 5 is considered too much. So even we follow between 3 to 5. So it's like a very optimum range, which is adopted worldwide. Okay, then according to PEC, the program intended learning outcomes, they describe what students are expected to know and able to do. So you can see the student-centric approach now here. By the time of graduation, okay, so who will be able to do it? The students. What you have to say it here, what they are expected to do, how well they will be able to do it. Okay, so you can see the ABCD approach being, being in play here. Okay, who is doing it? The students. What he will be doing it, you have to tell it. Okay, and how well he will be able to do it, again, you have to include. When he should be able to do it, by the time of graduation. Okay, so you can see that all elements of the ABCD approach are expected to be applied by the PEC as well. Okay, so they should be clearly defined and measurable. Again, going back to the SMART approach, they should be specific, SMART, specific, clearly defined, and measurable. Okay, so the two components are here as well. They should cover various domains. They call it KSA, knowledge, skills, and attitudes. So in each of your outcome, you have to focus on at least one of them, either the increasing the knowledge or increasing the skill or changing the attitude. For example, you say the student will be able to demonstrate how to use a serving equipment. This is skill. A student should be able to present in a room full of audience. This is attitude. A student should be able to design a building. This is knowledge. Okay, so one of these should always be there. Okay, so after the action verb, you have to go into the technical part of it. Then it should be aligned with the PEOs and silos. Okay, so PILOs, the program intended learning outcomes, is the bridge between what the institution wants to do and what you are doing to the students at the course level. Okay, so it's a bridge between them. Okay, and as I said, you have to use action verbs to specify the behavior which you are looking from the audience, and you have to go back to Bloom taxonomy for taking the correct word for it. Okay, and the silos, okay, silos are detailed statements, again, which tell you what the students are supposed to do at the end of the course. So again, the ABCD approach is there, the student, what and how well and where at the end of the course. And again, you follow the same sequence here. They should have appropriate action verbs, should be aligned with the PILOs, should be specific, measurable, and it should be between 5 to 10 per course. We consider it a very high number. 10 is a very, very, very high number. Okay. In our case, we considered 5, most of the time 7. This is enough. Okay, but here the range is, I don't know how strictly they follow it. Okay, but I would prefer that even if it is less than 5, it should be, it's a good take. Okay, because too many outcomes for a course means you are covering too many things, and the specificity is being compromised. Okay, some important points which we have to keep in mind. Okay, the modern education system is outcome based. The modern education system is outcome based. So we are not looking at what we are doing. We are looking at what will happen in future if you do it. Okay, so it's not about what you want to do. It's about what in the end should happen. And to make that happen, you have to follow all the steps and you have to follow the procedures for that. Very important element, like I already mentioned, when we were studying, we were not aware of what was the outcome of the course. Like why I'm taking this course, and after this course, there's another course which is a prerequisite of this one. Okay, and like where the program will take me at the end of the degree, at the end of the 4 years, we were not aware of that. But now awareness is a very, very, very important part of this whole thing. Okay, this whole structure. Okay. So students must be made aware and the department must be made aware. When you have your PEC visits, you would have interviews with the students as well as with the faculty. So the awareness level should be across the board. So you cannot say, no, the teacher knows what he's doing, let him do it or let her do it. No, it's not enough. The students should know it as well. Okay, or you cannot say the vice chancellor knows it or the dean knows it, or the head of the department knows, and this is enough. It's not enough. Everybody should be at some level of awareness across the board. So awareness is a very important part of it. And you may have, like, I know you guys have these PILOs and PEOs and even on your websites as well, and notice boards as well. So this is all part of it. The mapping. So mapping from the PEOs to the course should be consistent. Okay, because in the end, you have to prove it that you have achieved the outcome and the objective which you were looking for. So how do you prove it without mapping? So the courses are mapped, the activities in the course, your lectures and your exams and your assignments are mapped with the outcomes of the course. The course outcomes are mapped with the program outcomes. The program outcomes are mapped with PEOs. Okay, so this consistent multi-level mapping also helps you in identifying your problems. So I'm not meeting one of my education objectives. What is the problem? This education objective is mapped with this PILO, and this PILO is mapped with these 2, 3, 4 courses. So you can see, and you can go then at the very micro level, very minute level, and you can see where the problem is. Maybe the problem is with the exam of the course, maybe the content of the course. So this micro levels coherent mapping allows you to achieve your objectives. And if you don't achieve it, then it helps you to identify your problems. Okay. As I already mentioned, assessment is very important. So you cannot say I achieved because I have it in my course. No. Through mapping, you have to show the assessment, and assessment is done at the course level, at the program level, as well as the institutional level. Okay, so at every level there's assessment of the content and the program itself. Okay, and the last thing is continuous improvement. We have a program, it is already approved. Then why the PEC has to come after 2 years and approve it again, re-accredited and so on and so forth. This is part of continuous improvement. So the market study is done once, then you should repeat it to see any mistakes, any errors. If something is shown in your assessment, then you should pay attention to it. And this is how you will do continuous improvement of your program. Okay, so this is very important. It's part of the framework. Okay, like I already mentioned, this is why they don't give you infinite accreditation. Okay, that you have your program ready and it's approved and we will never come back to you again. No, it's for a specific number of years. And when they come next time, they will look at everything from scratch. You cannot say, no, this was correct the last time as well. There were no comments on this thing last time as well. Why are you looking at it again? There's no chance. They will not entertain these type of things. Okay, so continuous improvement is a very important part, and this is where the assessment and the mapping comes into play. So we don't wait for a accreditation. We do the assessment and the mapping, and we try to improve our program taking a proactive approach. Okay, so this is, in conclusion, I would say the higher education in the present world is taken as a business model. That's why the students have to be aware. That's why you have to improve yourself continuously. This is why you have to look at the assessment and mapping. This is how organizations work. This is how business organizations work. Your customer must be aware of what you are selling him. And in the end, at the end of the year, you have to do your audit and you have to show your profit. And if your profits are decreasing, you have to update yourself. If new technology comes into the market, you have to update yourself. So all these business strategies are now being adopted, and they are now part of the education system, maybe with different terminologies under a different framework, but the concept is same. Okay, the concept is same. In the education field, you cannot just stay calm and you can do whatever you want. No, you are depending upon others. You are looking at others, how they are responding to your program. And in the end, you have to increase your standing in the market, in the field. Okay, so this is the model which they are adopting. So with this, I conclude my presentation. So sorry, I took few minutes extra because of the problems we had initially, but I hope it was beneficial for everybody. And you can note down my email address as well. Okay, I can share the recording of this presentation later on. Okay, and the slides are also available for you. Okay, so I will share it to Professor Raza and he can share it with you guys. Okay, so if you have any comments at the end, you want to share something with me, please go ahead. Otherwise, I'm done with my part. Thank you so much for listening and bearing with me.